morning and welcome to Center Court here on Spinnaker Television. I've got Ryan Hennessy alongside both special guests Aaron Bottiger and Bo Beach. Welcome. Thank you for coming on, guys.
How are we doing?
He said he was going to do it. He said he was going to do it. All right. Well, we're going to start off with the Florida Gulf Coast game, and that was a tight game for you guys. Take us through what was going through your head, because it seemed like you guys started off a little bit slow.
Well, that's been one of our issues this year, just starting off a little bit slow. It's something we're trying to change a lot, but we get out to our average start, but we're always in there picking it back up. Defending and rebounding is what we focus on, so we're not really worried about it, and we're fortunate enough to get them out with the W.
Mm-hmm. All right. I know, Aaron, you came off the bench that game, and I saw a real spark from you. I was sitting there courtside, actually.
Had to say that.
I had to say
Caesar,
but you seemed to come off the bench and really have a spark. And then, Bo, you hit an electric three to really elevate the team. Talk me through what was going through your head during that time.
Well, we had a lot of great players on our team. So, when they just get flowing and Aaron starts hitting threes, it becomes tougher for the defense to just guard us. So really, when we were just flowing defensively, we were getting stops and easy transition threes, which is, that's our game. And I was knocking them in, thankfully, and Aaron knocked a few in, and it really sparked the team, and we got going. And like Aaron said, thankfully we got the win.
You talked about obviously I was talking about you coming off the bench, and I really see a spark with you and Bebe coming off the bench. And Bo, I want to ask you, what is it like having two players that have size and can come off the bench and kind of really help you out, especially down low? We talked about, how your big man Romello is out. You guys really have to step up and kind of be those. You're 6'8", but you shoot the ball, you stretch the floor.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't know if the 4 or the 5 would be your first position to pick if you were to pick on the floor. So to have people like him and Bebe to come off the bench, that must be huge for you guys.
Oh, it is. They're great players. That's what people don't understand. They could easily start for a lot of teams in our conference. But just with the number of players we have on the floor that are very good, they have to come off the bench for us. And it helps us in times because they just give us that spark. Like you said, Bebe, his defensive effort, he leads, he might lead the country in blocks.
Yeah, that guy's blocking the ball a lot.
It's unbelievable.
And it's going into the stands.
Every time. And then, Aaron shoots 47% from three. He's second on the team behind Trent. And
you guys are a team known for your three-pointers. You're leading the nation in three-pointers made right now.
Yeah, that's our game. Birds of Trey for a reason.
Birds of Trey.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Now, one player I wanted to talk about was Nick Malonga. I hadn't heard about him, obviously, because he didn't play last season. But talk us through kind of his contribution and what he's been for the team this year.
Nick is he's a very energetic guy. Some guy that he's gonna come out there and give you a great defensive effort. Has great length. Can get deflection, aggressive. Been playing very well lately, which is big for us. Just getting in there, boarding, and knocking down wide open shots, which is what we need. So he's been big time for us lately, which is very good.
Go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say, did you have something else?
No, I wanted to talk, because I've been really impressed. I've been here, I'm a junior now, and I saw kind of the progression, what you've gone through since your freshman year. What have you worked on? Because I've been really impressed. You got a team that really shoots threes, and I feel like you've been shooting really good threes, and the threes are smart shots, too. You're not, a lot of people, you think Birds of Trey, just throw up threes. You're having a good percentage. What have you seen from your freshman year to now and your progression in your game?
Well, it makes it a lot easier when you have guys like Bo, and you got Dallas, and you got Chris, Bebe, and Trent, just dudes that can ball. So open shots, they just come to me because you got the defense worried about them. So it's just my job to do my part, to play my role, which is knock down open shots, defend, and obviously rebound. So, but yeah, over the past few years, just being able to watch them and learn from them, it's been really good for me. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully it keeps working out.
It's good, and I see they put you down, on the block sometimes.
Yeah, especially when these guys start getting in foul trouble. I give them a lot of credit.
We're gonna get into that foul trouble.
It's a lot easier said than done.
Moving on, we're actually gonna bring up. I hate to bring it up, guys, but the Stetson game. We've got to go over it. It seemed like you guys, you said your bread and butter was a three-point line, and it seemed like you guys seemed to fall back a little bit in that game, only shooting about 28%. Can you talk us through what was going through you guys, what was happening?
Yeah, it was just one of those nights, shots weren't falling. And because of that, Stetson did a great job defending us too, giving them credit. They had a good game plan coming in to try to stop us. But sometimes shots don't fall. When you're a team like us that makes 13 a game, some nights you're only going to hit 7 or 8. And I think that's what we hit, 7 or 8 threes. So, I mean, that's, like you said, it's a big part of our game. And, I mean, we still scored 80 points.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. We play fast, and, I mean, just we didn't knock the shots in. And give Stetson all the credit because they did play a really good game offensively and defensively against us.
And the one thing I saw, excuse me, was, you know, the foul trouble. Obviously, we talked about that. Bo, I mean, I saw 18 minutes in, you hit number 4, and that was kind of scary. And I was watching closely at the way you were playing after that. I think they put you back in around the 12-minute mark around
12,
there.
yeah.
And it was kind of interesting. I was nervous because those guys were driving in on you guys
Yeah.
and just trying to get that foul. And you and
Yeah.
Davenport were in foul trouble. And I got hats off to the bench for really coming in. And you guys played a pretty long time with those, with Bo and Davenport on the bench. And, but it was interesting spreading the floor. You were spreading the floor more, trying to not play down low because they were trying to get you. So how do you handle, you know, one of the biggest guys on the team, and they need you down low because that's what they were doing. They were driving. They were driving and getting those fouls. How do you do that? How do you take yourself out of that down low position as one of the biggest guys on the court and kind of just having to play outside more? I know you like shooting the ball, but like
yeah, it's difficult, but I mean, that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes you get in those foul trouble. And I mean, it was some of them were silly fouls, as Aaron could probably agree with me on that.
I
and
agree
Coach.
too, but I mean, I don't want to say fouls were the reason, but they were.
It hurts.
They were kind of, you know, really.
I mean, that was their game plan, to do just that, just to drive in and just lower their shoulder into us and try to, you know, pick up those fouls, because the new rules, they really are an offensive players type of game. So if you know the rules well enough, you're going to be able to draw fouls on the defense. And I mean, we got them in foul trouble too, but I mean, like you said, when you have Chris and I as two of the bigger guys on the floor, and then you put Aaron, I mean, he's big, but not, I mean, 6'8" and 6'4" is a big difference. And I mean, it ended up biting us in the butt this time, but I mean, you just got to learn from him, really.
And that's kind of what we talked about. I want to just say one more thing, which I thought was I was leaving the arena, people were so upset. They were like, you know, this is a huge loss. And I said, I in high school, I don't know if this relates to football, but we went undefeated. We didn't give up a touchdown all my senior year.
Wow.
And, you know, we gave up that touchdown the last game of the season. We were going to the playoffs, and some of the kids were crying on the defense because they never gave up a touchdown. I said, you got to be able to go through this adversity. You guys, you know, feeling what it is, adjust. I mean, obviously the shots weren't falling. I mean, that's just any day. I mean, people are like, why aren't they shooting these shots? I'm like, they're a three-point shooting team.
It's going to happen.
You're gonna happen like that. But I think that this is the panic button got hit too hard. I don't think this is a big deal. I mean, you guys got two big games ahead. Obviously, going back to FGCU.
And that's actually a really interesting one that you guys are going to FGCU, your closest game so far this year.
Yep.
And that's going to be your bounce back game. Talk us through what you guys are going through with that.
Well, I mean, Gulf Coast is a great team. You know, they're coming off a couple losses as well, so I mean, they're going to be fired up. And we're just, I mean, like you said, we're looking to rebound and just play our game, get back to the normal rhythm we're in, getting more defensive stops, more rebounds, knocking a couple more threes here and there. And then, I mean, just play fast, really, because the faster we play, the more possessions we get, and we like our chances, the more shots we get up.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got the NBA. We're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors and also the NFL and our Super Bowl predictions. So we'll bring it right back here on Spinnaker Television.
Hey Ospreys! In case your studies took you away from the news last week, be sure to circle back and check out Spinnaker's coverage of a former student government vice president telling someone to watch out, and the Impact Party featuring presidential candidate Gustavo Escaño dissolved, leaving at this point just one major party for this year's SG elections. Coming up this week, though, is coverage of our new veterans program and a spotlight feature on Caroline Dodd, the student who leads the Presidential Envoys, actively gives back to the community, and finds time for more, all the while taking a full class load. All this news and more can be found on all of our outlets, and of course, right in the palm of your hand via the UNF Spinnaker app, available in the Apple and Google Play stores. We are the UNF Spinnaker, and we're working for you.
And we're back here on Center Court on Spinnaker Television. Ryan Hennessy alongside Aaron Bottiger and Bo Beach. So we're going to go into a little bit of the NBA today and talk about the Golden State Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors have been absolutely dominating so far this year. And the question remains, will they catch the Bulls, the 95 Bulls and their 72-10 mark? What do you guys think?
Statistically, it says they will beat their record. What are they, 44-4 right now?
Yep, they're 44-4.
Something like that.
impressive.
Very impressive. That's very impressive, which means they should beat it, and I don't see anybody stopping them but themselves. I mean, like we've said previously, they're a shooting team just like we are, and but obviously they do it at a much higher level.
Yeah, a little bit
So,
better.
Well, you look at their last couple point totals on how much they've scored: 132, 125, 122, 120.
And look at those teams they're
Oh
playing.
my
man.
gosh.
Cavaliers,
Cavs,
Spurs.
Bulls, Pacers, Spurs, Mavericks.
Outside the
Great
76ers.
Yeah.
That's a close one, man.
The 3-point game.
The Magic would almost
Magic
the
almost beat
Warriors,
it.
right?
Yeah.
And this was all right before they lost to the Pistons.
Yeah.
Remember, they went on this streak right after they lost to the Pistons. So right now, for me, I think the Warriors are going to do it. Because they have elevated the 3-point game and really shown how it's such a huge weapon in the NBA.
I mean, they're shooting 43% from three. That's,
Yeah.
In the NBA,
That's incredible.
that's really good. And it's not just Steph Curry. They got 5 guys out on the floor that are shooting threes.
Draymond's
Almost
having
every-
a great season.
Draymond, if Steph wasn't on his team, he'd be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, he's
having triple doubles.
he's put up like 6 triple doubles this year, 2 in the past week. I mean, he's
Can
a
you
stud.
imagine if he would have left in free agency, what that would have meant
Oh.
to this Warriors team?
It hurt a lot.
Yeah.
It hurt a lot. I mean,
I think here's a really good point to bring up is that they're shooting 49% from the field. They are going down and making almost half of their shots every possession.
it's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable to think about.
But here's my question: is do they beat the Cavs in the finals? It's going to be them. I know.
It has to be
This is
the
what I don't
Cavs.
like about the NBA because I know who's going to be there. It's either them or if the Spurs. I don't think the Spurs can beat them in 7. I don't think they can. So do you think? Because LeBron's pissed.
But do you think the Cavs are going to be the team to make it?
Absolutely. Who else in
Really?
the East is going to beat the Cavs?
don't
Maybe
know.
the Bulls. That's the only team that I see even coming close to actually being in the NBA Finals over. But they're just too good. Do you guys see the Warriors making it?
I think the Warriors Spurs are going to be a great Western Conference Finals. That's what I believe it will be. But the Cavs will be coming out of the East most likely, like you said, Ryan. And I don't see the Cavs having enough to keep up with the Warriors. I mean, their offense is so
Yeah.
efficient.
No chance. I give the Cavaliers no chance of beating the Warriors. But like Bo said, Spurs-Cavs will be a very great series. I look at the Warriors as kind of like a younger version of the Spurs, how the Spurs used to be when they were much younger. They played fast, but obviously with
Manu, they had Tony Parker,
Tony Parker,
young Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
He's still tearing it up.
I mean, but now they got Kawhi, which is
Yeah.
big time for them. But
And Aldridge.
and Aldridge. There we go.
we
Yeah.
just
Big
keep
time.
adding on so many great players
It's
that are on this
unbelievable.
team.
It's unbelievable.
So, yeah.
It'll be a good series though. But I just don't see anyone beating the Warriors this
Yeah,
year.
it's tough.
All right, well, we're going to move on to the NFL now. The NFL, we've got the Panthers
I heard
and the
there's a big game this
Broncos.
Sunday.
A little bit of a
Is
big
that
game.
happening?
There's just
I don't
one
know.
to decide
Which
the
one is
entire
it?
season.
Yeah.
I think they call it the
Jags
Super Bowl.
playing? Oh,
That is a big
I
game.
wish
Yeah,
the
for
Jags
real.
were playing. Blake Bortles is in California right now.
yeah, he's hanging out.
So, guys, what do you see happening in this game? Does Peyton ride off into the sunset? Does the Sheriff retire with a title? Or does Cam Newton start to begin his legacy and win his first title?
I mean, personally, being roommates with Bebe Daniels for the past 4 years, I'm probably a little more biased towards Peyton Manning winning the Super Bowl now. He's influenced me a little. But
Towards the good or bad? Like,
I'd say
towards
the good.
Towards the good?
Yeah,
Okay.
Towards the good. It's always towards
So
the good. with
Bebe's huge Peyton Manning fan.
Huge Peyton Manning Broncos guy.
Okay.
This one, he's the salty one because he's a Colts fan.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think Peyton will win it. I think it's only storybook if he wins. It kind of like Elway did, with the Broncos won it.
Ray
retired,
Lewis.
You
That's
know,
why-
Here's
the
an
most
interesting
recent one.
stat. If Peyton wins this game, he ends 14-13 in the postseason. So he actually ends with a winning postseason record, which is what everybody gives him grief about for
Yeah.
his career.
yeah, well, I mean, that's big time then.
It literally sets up. It's this huge storyline setting up. You've got the young guy coming in with some other veterans on his team, like Thomas Davis.
Yeah.
But then you've got Peyton Manning, who's the all-time leading passer. So
good
it's kind of an interesting storyline to follow.
Yeah, it is.
If he doesn't win, you think he's done?
Yeah.
Really?
I think
Yeah.
he's done.
He's gotta
He's done
be.
regardless.
Really?
He's just calling
It's
it.
got to be.
It's just, I mean, he missed, 6, 7 straight games. Osweiler looked pretty good. I wouldn't say he was tearing
he's
it
no
up.
Peyton
but,
Manning.
but if you give him a full offseason with that offense, I think he can really do some special things for the team.
So obviously, I'm getting the sense that you guys think that Osweiler is going to be the quarterback for this team next year.
I would, yeah.
So where would Peyton end up? If he does end up coming back, where do you see him?
If he ended up, Rumors have it he's coming to the Jags.
I think he comes
As
home
a running
to the Colts.
back.
Go back to the Colts. Takes
Yeah,
Luck's
Colts
spot.
takes us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, but
I see.
I don't know. I just don't see him going anywhere else.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
the
don't
big
see
thing
them
about
running
it.
him out. I think if he stayed one more year, he'll stay one more year. I don't think that defense is so good.
They're
I mean, that
stacked.
defense is so good that he could stay another year and they could be good. And that's
They
the
can do
one
the
thing
same
about
thing.
this game I want to talk about is Josh Norman of that defense. And that defense is so good for Carolina, but you saw what they just did to the Patriots, that defense. I mean, Tom Brady's one of the best quarterbacks ever to live, probably arguably the best. And the fact that they did that to his defense or his offense was incredible. And that's what I think might be the fact in this game. Can they stop Cam Newton? Because that's a big question. Cam Newton, can they stop him? I mean, they don't have the big receivers. They've got a tight end in Greg Olsen, but can they stop those receivers is the real question. Do you guys think Josh Norman, can he get it done against Peyton in that defense? I mean, that offense? Because I think Peyton's going to give him everything they got, obviously.
Yeah.
This might be his last rodeo.
Do you think
My
he's
heart
got-
wants Peyton to win,
Yeah.
but Carolina is just something else, man. Every time I say, oh, they're doing good in the regular season, but I don't know how they're going to do in the playoffs, and they keep on just killing teams.
just
I mean,
keep running through.
like the Cardinals were just ridiculously good, and look what he made Carson Palmer look like a little boy
Yeah,
out there.
he really did.
I mean,
He really did.
I just
Yeah.
don't know if that Carolina defense can lose. I really don't. It's been impressive.
Well, here would be an interesting thing. Does Peyton even throw towards Josh Norman's side?
I mean, he's
when,
got the best
Another good one.
receiver
when,
out there.
when Tom Brady played Richard Sherman
They
in
didn't
the
go
t-
towards
yeah, they didn't even throw towards his
Not-
side.
not
They
yet.
they threw everywhere else and tried to get the ball away from Richard
Makes sense.
Sherman. So do you think the Broncos follow that tactic?
I can see them not throwing to Demarius, but Demarius, you hear that story about him? His mom just got out of
Yeah.
jail, never saw his son play,
Never
and
saw
it's
him play
going to
a
the
game.
first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Unbelievable.
it's a really cool story. I see him trying to have a big game. So if Josh Norman D's him up one-on-one, I don't know if he'll get the chance to get the ball, but man, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I got the Broncos winning because of that defense. I'm not going to go for Peyton Manning. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I don't know if he's got it in him against that defense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're not sure if he's got that
But
it factor with his
Von
arm.
Miller, DeMarcus Ware, that secondary, I got to go with
Someone brought up a really good thing. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio this morning, and they brought up how DeMarcus Ware was a one-star recruit coming out of high school. Can you believe that?
Shows they miss sometimes.
They miss. He is an
Missed that
all-pro, Pro Bowl player.
He's up there
and
with Reggie White.
Yeah.
He's
With
something
the
else.
years
Yeah.
he's had.
Oh, yeah.
when he
It's
was
his
at
first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. what you
Yeah,
think.
it's
Well,
pretty
he
cool to see.
Played with mediocre Dallas his whole career. So it's wild.
Now, here's a question I have. Will Newton end up having a better career than Peyton
Oh,
Manning?
man.
No chance.
Oh,
no
put the
chance.
camera on Aaron.
Put
He's
the-
gonna-
yeah, put the
he's
camera
gonna
on Aaron.
School. He's gonna, Aaron's about to take Alex to school real quick.
Well, Aaron, tell me what you think about this. 'cause-
I mean, being a big-time Colts fan for most of my life and seeing Peyton, what he did in Indianapolis, and I mean, like you said, even though he has, 13, 14 playoff losses, even to have that many losses means you have to get there that many times. So that's a big credit to Peyton Manning. And I just don't see Cam having the same type of legacy that Peyton will leave behind.
Look at those yards
Unbelievable.
and those touchdowns.
It's crazy.
And you got to keep in mind, though, the numbers might not be there for Newton because he's running the ball, too. So
Yeah.
obviously that might
The
not
total
be
touchdowns is
equal,
huge.
but man, look at those yards for Peyton Manning. I can't see him topping his record. I mean, I think Peyton Manning, obviously we talked about his winning in the playoffs is a big issue, but if he wins this, I think he goes down as one of the greatest to ever play the game.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Brady has the wins over him, but man, he's got those numbers in the regular season. I think he goes down as one of the best to ever live. if
well,
he wins
evens
it.
him up with his brother too. So
Yeah.
there's no more of that
There's no that
Thanksgiving. I've
question.
got more than
Yeah,
you.
yeah, more.
You know.
True, that's a good point.
So, but finally, we want to get on to one last NFL topic. We're going to bring up who do you guys think is going to be the #1 draft choice in the NFL draft?
Personally, it's got to be the offensive tackle from Ole Miss, Tunsil, I think it is.
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil.
He's a beast.
He scored a touchdown in their
in their bowl game.
Bowl
It was
game, yeah.
unbelievable. They brought a little flat pattern to
Yeah.
him.
Saw that.
So he's a stud. I mean, probably 6'5", 6'6",
Mm-hmm.
300+ pounds. Left tackle. I really want the Jags to get him
Yeah.
at 5. I think we could definitely use the offensive line, but there's
Yeah,
no
we
way
did.
he slips to 5 in my opinion. And if we're lucky, we'll get him. But I mean, at 5, there's gonna be a lot of other good players for the Jags. Maybe Vernon Hargrave.
I like
from
Hargreaves.
Florida,
I like
or
Hargreaves.
Ramsey from Florida State.
I
We
was
need
going to say
secondary help.
Ramsey. Ramsey's a good one
Yeah.
for the Jags because we need that kind of free safety, which is where I think we'll play him at, or we can play him at corner.
Well, if
And
you
he's a
put him
big
at-
body guy
So say you
too.
put him at safety. Him and Cyprian are almost like linebackers.
Yeah.
With stacking up the box, stopping the run, and they can cover those quick tight ends like you were saying, Greg Olsen in the Super Bowl. Guys like that kind of slow them down because Andrew Luck's in our division, and Mariota's looking good as a young quarterback.
I mean, Matt
so-
Hasselbeck was making us look like
so-
fools out there.
So
So
it doesn't take much, but nonetheless, I think secondary might be our option at 5, but 1 Tunsil for sure.
number one pick for me, really quickly, I got to get Joey Bosa. I mean, I don't know.
Nice.
That guy's a baller. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you saw he got ejected quickly out of that bowl game.
It was kind
but-
of a weak call, but
Yeah, but he's definitely. I mean, he's from St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yep.
The people they get out of that program. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But I gotta go with him. His brother's coming out, and is apparently a Ohio State commit, and he's apparently better, according to sources, than
wow.
Joey Bosa. But
Wow.
Aaron, who you got?
This isn't up my alley, but Jeff Driscoll. Oh, no. Big time Haggerty guy.
Are we talking about the MLB draft?
He has a shot there, doesn't he? No, but this is. I have no idea.
No
I
idea?
just go out there and watch the game and enjoy it. So.
Well, I'll help you out then. The Titans are probably going to take the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
So I think it has to go with Laramie Tinsell because that's what they need. There's quarterbacks on the board. There's corners on the board. But the Titans have that. So all they need is an offensive tackle. I mean, they need a lot more than that.
They need a little bit more
They
than
need a
just
little bit
that,
more than
yeah.
that. But that's one of their biggest things they need, and I think that's what they'll get. So
Hopefully the
we're going
Jags
to move on
get someone good.
Yeah, we're going to move on to our favorite part of the show.
Driscoll's favorite part too.
Driscoll's definitely favorite part of the show.
Okay.
Ballers and dudes. We're going to go over who we thought was a good player this week and who we thought might have messed up. So
ballers are the good guys.
Yes.
And dudes are the not so good guys. We'll put it that way.
yes.
So,
But sometimes, as Coach said, ballers or dudes can become ballers. So.
yeah.
But who do you have going so far?
I got to go with Allen Robinson. I mean, what a pick. Second round pick for the Jaguars. Pro Bowl. Went because Calvin Johnson retired, came in. I think he should have been a Pro Bowler right away. I mean, that guy almost leading the league in touchdowns. Definitely didn't expect him to do that. Had 2 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. He burned a corner in the Pro Bowl. So Allen Robinson is definitely my baller of the week for that Pro Bowl performance. I can't wait to see what he has left in him for next year. I mean, this is going to be something.
He's been a great prospect for the Jags
Oh,
this
yeah.
year. So I'm going to go with probably one of the all-time greatest wide receivers. He's retiring this year after only
Ridiculous.
10 years. I know. But, hey, Barry Sanders did it too, and he's one of the greatest. But Megatron, Calvin Johnson, he had almost 1,200 yards receiving. That is incredible to think about. With the Lions, the Detroit Lions. No wonder why he wants to retire. He plays for the Detroit Lions. But, he had a fantastic career, and I'm going to miss watching him play, even though he was a Georgia Tech guy, which I always thought that was interesting that you had Matthew Stafford, a Georgia guy, throwing to Calvin Johnson.
I never thought about that, but that's a good sign. That is
But
true.
who do you have?
Well, speaking of him, Peyton Manning, as you know, we showed the numbers earlier, going to the Super Bowl, might be his last rodeo like we were saying. He's been, just an absolute stud in the regular season. Alex made a good point earlier. With this playoff win, if he wins the Super Bowl, he'll end up with a winning record in the playoffs, 14-13. So, I mean, that's a baller right there.
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
baller. And I mean, 2 Super Bowls, MVPs, career passing yards record. He's up there in 500 plus touchdowns. I mean, he's just a baller through and through. So Peyton Manning, my baller of the week.
All right. Who do you have, Ryan, for your dude? Your dude.
Got to go with
gonna be the worst
you got to go
guy.
with his baller first, man.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
Aaron's
that's right. I
baller.
forgot Aaron's
Forget
got his
about-
baller. I know.
See,
I'm
Aaron
forgetting
used to
about my
beat
buddy.
him in one-on-one in high school. So
I'm
this
taking
one-
it out on him
He's
right
still a little
now.
salty
He's a little
about it.
salty about that.
Don't let him think that. I beat him a couple times.
Yeah, back in a little home court advantage at your house. I won't say anything about that though.
All right.
I'm gonna go with a group of ballers. The Golden State Warriors, like we previously talked about. I think they're unstoppable, and with just great guys at every position. And nobody even talks about Klay Thompson anymore. A guy that averages 22 points, playing with dudes like Steph Curry and Draymond Green. So he's playing he's the third option maybe on that team and still doing what he does and doing it at a high level and at a successful level. So I'm going to have to go with the Golden State Warriors.
They're definitely the ballers of this whole year. But for the dudes, we're talking about dudes, they're not so good. This is a new thing. The Cleveland Browns just came out. Johnny Manziel will not get re-signed. They're going to let him go. I talk about someone that just ruins their own career by their choices. I mean, you got the franchise. Obviously, the Cleveland Browns isn't the best franchise you want to be a part of, but you got a franchise nonetheless. And I think he really ruined his chances in the NFL. I don't think anyone's going to pick him up anymore. I see it as like a bad Tim Tebow with the media because Tebow, great attitude, but you got a third-string quarterback that's leading your team in sales. Kind of same thing with Johnny Manziel. I mean, you don't want that distraction on your team anymore. I don't think he's going to start for any team. I wish he would. Maybe down the road, Dallas, you can say. But
I heard something the other day that he might actually go to the Canadian Football League.
Wow.
It fits him perfectly. They're 100%.
No one knows about it. It fits him perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. And he can go out and drink, and nobody will care because they're like the fourth best sport in that country. But I'm going to go on to another guy who, personally, I hope he never plays in the NFL again. Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy was arrested for assault and assaulting his girlfriend when he was with the Carolina Panthers, and he had gotten an opportunity after they just kind of dropped his case to go to the Cowboys. And I think it's been a huge disgrace by the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, I don't know what you were thinking. How could you let a man like this back into the NFL? There is no place for somebody like that. So Greg Hardy came out today, or a couple days ago, that the Cowboys wouldn't re-sign him, and I really hope no NFL team takes the bait because he's not worth it. So moving on, what do you got for me?
My dude, who was actually just a baller, Calvin Johnson. My dude.
I agree with that. He is a dude right now. When are you retiring at age 34, man?
30
You're
years
6'5" and you're on a 4.3.
But he's one of the greatest receivers of all time.
No, but see, here's the thing. It's the Barry Sanders. He's leaving Detroit early, right? He had a chance to be the greatest of all time, but his numbers will never stack up.
Yeah.
30 years old. He has a good 5 years left in him. That body, 6'5", runs a 4.4 40.
Yeah, like
He
ridiculous.
has Matthew Stafford as a gunslinger quarterback. Yeah. He can put up crazy numbers, and he's retiring. Good for him to understand, maybe his body doesn't want it. He doesn't want to play on a losing team anymore.
Then you
I get
leave
all
the
that,
team.
but
You leave the team. Go to the Patriots. Play with
exactly.
Tom Brady. Can you imagine
Well, they
that?
have him under contract, though. He can't just up and leave.
just come to Jacksonville. Just come to Jacksonville.
You got Blake Bortles,
I'd
man.
want to retire.
It's warmer. You have the beach. You got Bortles, and you got us.
Yeah, you got us.
That's my
You got
pitch,
the birds
Calvin.
of Trey.
There we go.
All right, Aaron, who do you have?
All right, let's go with a group of
Oh,
dudes.
man.
I think I can
This hurts
say
all
this
of
because
us.
if I'm not mistaken, we're all Orlando
All of
Magic
us.
fans here. And this is heartbreaking to say, but it could be actually a blessing. Maybe we just start tanking from now on and we get the number one and we get Ben Simmons.
If we get Ben Simmons, I'm okay.
Then it's
with
not-
it.
That guy's a
That's
baller,
bad.
man.
Baller.
That's a baller right there.
That would be a baller. But this is a group of dudes just, what, they've won one maybe out of the last 10, 11, 12.
They
squeaked one
started
out.
off strong, though. They
Very
actually
strong.
were above 500 at one point.
Yeah.
There was
But-
at one
Sweet.
point they were, it might have been about a month ago, we were about a game and a half out of second in the East, which is the East, but still, to be
It's
a game
still,
in
where were
to
we
be a
last
game in a
year?
second. Exactly.
man.
But just it's been downhill for us. Squeaked one out
Since
against
Dwight
Boston,
left,
and
yeah.
But
it's just been no hope for us
I
lately.
think Dwight leaving was actually a little bit of a blessing in
Oh,
disguise.
yeah.
'cause we
We're
were
doing
able,
so good now?
Yeah. But
Come on, Alex.
we were able
We
to
haven't
get
made the playoffs
but we were
in
able
like
to get
5
so many
years,
draft
man.
picks.
Yeah, what are we
so
doing
many
with
draft
that?
picks. But hey, we're moving
done some
towards it.
good
It's
people.
Scotty Skiles' first season.
That's
He took
true.
over a team that was a losing team last year, and they've actually improved the
Scott
record.
Skiles coached the Bucks when they sucked. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't understand. Like,
Hey man, fun stat about
Fun stat.
Scott Skiles. He is actually the NBA single game leader
30.
for assists.
30.
30.
The Magic.
30
Wow.
assists
It
in
is.
one
Yeah,
game.
well, but
So.
he can't get it done with the Magic, so that's all I care about right now. I don't even. You guys been to that new stadium though? That's nice.
I've been in there
Yeah,
once.
it's
It's
The
nice.
new arena, you
Very
can't get
unreal.
good seats there anymore compared to that old one. man.
Yeah.
It's night and day, but hopefully the Magic will win. But good luck, guys. It's
Yeah,
a
thank you
big
very
game,
much.
FGCU, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course,
It's a
man.
pleasure.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on with us this morning. As always, it's here on Spinnaker Television. That's it for Center Court.
Maybe you guys can play one-on-one, just like the good old days.
Hey, yeah, rematch.
I don't have to rough you up a little bit.
I'll take him in the paint.
There you go.